Hello everyone, this is Valerie and this is Roman. We are talking about customer reviews or customer feedback right now. In the last episode, we covered the topic of a lifetime deal and how to launch the lifetime deal campaign for you as a startup or small businesses.
So in the last episode, we told you about the lifetime deal that helped us collect a lot of customer feedback and actually plan the roadmap, and all the feedback that we received from the customers built the roadmap for about a year of our product.
That is why this episode we will slightly cover how to work with feedback and what this customer feedback is.
We just truly believe that it's highly important to treat every feedback in a certain manner, and you actually have to ask yourself a lot of questions before planning any activities once you receive the feedback, like with the product development or some marketing activities. Well, anyways, so basically in this video we are going to tell you about how you can work with user feedback and how it can affect your roadmap, if actually it is allowed to affect your roadmap. So
correct. So let's go, and before we start, be sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and feedback is a really useful tool to work on your roadmap. That is why please leave the comments below about how do you work with the feedback that you get from your customers.
So any type of request can be distributed into 3 groups. So we just name them as bugs, feature requests, and also something that is hard to understand in your product. So
hard use cases, difficult use cases.
Right. Okay. So like as for bugs, that is pretty much understandable. Something doesn't work the way it is supposed to do, and you just pass it to the developers or whatever. That is easy. As for the feature request,
so for feature requests, it's more difficult than bugs, because bugs you just forward to developers, but feature requests, you need to somehow develop these requests, because usually it is not as simple as customer formulate to you.
Yeah, like what?
Like for example, I want to have this integration, or I want to have this feature, but maybe there is no reason to have this feature because you could solve this issue. You could solve this issue with the present feature or the feature that product already has.
Yeah, just the customer might not even understand or might not catch the way they can realize their wishes inside the product, like in about 5 seconds. So that's where your customer support is very much useful.
And the third one is hard to understand use case request or feedback. So it's tightly connected with the second one, but it's not about the feature or the bug, it's just about the user experience.
Yeah.
So how to make the user flow, the user journey simpler and more understandable, more clear.
Yeah, of course. And that type of feedback can be very useful for improving your onboarding and probably the knowledge base or something else that actually affects the smoothness of customer journey, and as a result, higher LTV, because the faster you engage the customer, the faster they get the results with your product, and of course, the longer they're going to stay with you.
So, okay, we covered the types of the feedback, and let's go to the places where you could get the feedback.
Right, yeah.
So it's also quite simple, and everybody knows about the places, but we just have to name it. So the live chats, the widgets that you have on the website or inside the product, the feedback forms, the regular customer success checks. This is more for medium businesses or the teams where you have separated people responsible for customer success and for monitor the health of the customers. Then you could have communities, so internal communities that rely on you as a great vendor, and they just communicate in Facebook or Slack.
Yeah, like these are your advocates.
Yes.
You actually do not need to be in that community all the time.
Exactly.
Because all the members can help each other, and that's like pretty useful in terms of economizing on your customer support time, but also that is a great place to grab feedback.
Yes. And the last one we knew from the lifetime deal campaign, it is public roadmap. So having a public roadmap, you could collect the feedback, the reviews right inside the third-party tool, and then regularly collect the list of the feedback and just work with them. And right now, we are going to describe how to work with them.
So whenever you receive feedback or some request from a customer, there are 3 main steps you need to go through before actually pushing that feedback forward. So step 1, you need to check who is sending this feedback. So in other words, you need to check the customer profile. That typically includes the size of the company, the growth stage, also the usage patterns, and so on. So like everything that is important for understanding who you are talking to and who is sending this request. The second point is actually diving into this request. Like ask yourself, why are they asking it? Or like, why do they need it? Because if you start asking why a lot of times, you will actually get deep into the problem, and that's where you probably might need developers' help or also the customer success, so whatever, but just make sure you understand the real reason why they're sending this feedback to you.
We do not like to dive deeper into customer development. That is why we just recommend you to read the book Mom Test.
Yeah.
And that is the great example how to develop the feature requests and how to work with the feedback. Okay, let's go on. After you collect all the data that you need to work with this feedback, you just deliver this feedback to your product team or the people who are responsible for developing or working with this feedback further. So we at Dashly, we use Product Board as a tool where all the feedback collected. And this is a great and useful platform that provides a very transparent flow how the feedback goes from the feature request to developed feature or solved a bug.
Yeah, I know there are some other ways to collect feedback. So like we can start with some easiest as Trello board, that can be also in the form of a public roadmap, and that's where your users or potential customers can just come, vote for some features or leave their requests.
I have a simpler way to collect the feedback, it's just the Google Sheet.
Yeah, indeed.
It's free and very simple.
Yeah, Google Sheets forever.
Yeah.
So once you receive the feedback from the customer, worked on it and deliver it to the right team, it's time to continue working with the request together with the customer. Like you need to go back to your customer and say, hey, I delivered your feedback to the developers, for example, and the approximate period of time that they need for resolving your issue is about a week. So I will go back to you.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, of course. I will go back to you next Monday and tell you the news.
Yeah.
So that is it. The main idea of this point is to remember, notify your customers, I mean those who sent a request. So make them understand that you care about their request and you're working on it.
Yes, exactly. And the last one is don't forget to notify the customer who sent you a request about a request is solved. So for example, a customer shared with you any bug, and that could be a very serious bug for the company, and you just fixed it as a hot fix in a day.
Yeah.
And don't forget to notify about the solving this bug your customer, because until you do not notify them, they think that you have a buggy product or the bug is not solved, and they
or you are a procrastinator.
Right.
Or just great liar.
Yeah.
And of course, you're not. So we are done with this overview of how you can work with customer requests that you receive in live chat, in the form, or whatever way. So the basic procedure that you can follow, any team can follow that. And
next time we will share with you the way how to work with the customer request deeply. So we are going to talk about customer development.
Yep. So stay tuned.
Bye-bye.
See ya.